Imagine an international world without diplomacy. What would happen to global peace if every political tension were resolved only by military force? In the reality of international relations, which are fraught with economic, security, and ideological interests, the political or diplomatic route presents itself as a rational alternative that places dialogue above confrontation. Every conflict, whether it be a territorial dispute, a maritime border dispute, or an ideological dispute, always hold the possibility of being resolved without war, as long as there is political will from the disputing parties.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you watch this video, guys. My name is Patan Muhammad Al-Hatam Yusuf. You can call me Patan. I hope you are doing well, guys. So, I will open our group presentation by explaining the meaning and characteristic of international dispute settlement through political channels. In general, the political or diplomatic route is a way of resolving international disputes without involving international judicial institutions, such as the International Court of Justice or ECJ or arbitration. This phase focus more on the process of diplomacy, dialogue, and mutual agreement between the disputing countries. This approach is based on Article 32 of the United Nations Charter, which explicitly states that each party to a dispute must first seek a peaceful settlement through negotiation, mediation, conciliation, arbitration, or other peaceful means. The principle implies that international peace can be maintained not only through law, but also through political communication in a shared will to avoid armed conflict. In contrast to legal channels that are judicial in nature and produce decisions that are binding in international law, political channels are non-judicial, meaning that the results achieved do not have the force of law. However, the advantage of this approach lies in its flexibility and compromising nature. The process allows disputing states to adjust the settlement according to their national interest, political condition, and ongoing diplomatic relation. In the context of dynamic international relations, the flexibility is essential to maintain stability and prevent further tensions. In addition, the political track is based on the principle of good faith, open dialogue, and mutual compromise. The success of this process is highly dependent on the political will of the parties involved, because without the intention and trust between countries, diplomacy will be difficult to achieve concrete results. Thus, the political track not only serves as a means of dispute resolution, but also an important instrument in strengthening diplomatic relations, building trust, and creating sustainable peace at the global. That's all for me. My friend will continue for the next material.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lalu Teguh Aswandi Utama. Here I want to continue presentations from my friends before. So today my topic is about political methods of dispute settlement. In international relations, conflict between countries are common, but war or violence is not the only way to solve them. There are several political approaches that emphasize dialogue, diplomacy, and peaceful negotiations to reach mutual understanding and maintain stability. Let us take a look at the main forms of political dispute settlement. First one is negotiation. The definition of negotiation is a direct process between the disputing parties to reach an agreement without involving a third party. The characteristics of this negotiation, first one is conducted directly between the parties involved. Second, aims to achieve a mutually beneficial agreement. Third, usually the first step before involving any third party. Example, the Camp David Peace Agreements in 1978 between Egypt and Israel, facilitated by the United States, which successfully ended the long-standing conflict between the two countries. Number two is mediation. The definition of mediation is involves a third party who actively provides suggestions or proposals for resolving the conflict, but the final decision still belongs to the disputing parties. The characteristics of these mediations is, first one is the mediator must be neutral and active. The second, the mediator does not impose decisions but helps facilitate dialogue. Example, ASEAN's mediation in the Cambodian conflict in 1980, or the United Nations mediation in the Syrian conflict. And number three is conciliation. Conciliation is a process where a third party establishes a special commission to investigate the dispute and propose non-binding recommendations for settlement. The characteristics of these conciliations, first one, usually conducted by a formal body or commission. And second one is the recommendation is not legally binding. Example of conciliation. Conciliation between the United Kingdom and Argentina in 1980s concerning their border dispute over the Falkland Islands. Number four is good offices. Good offices refer to the effort of a third party to facilitate communication or meetings between disputing parties without participating in the substance of the discussions. The characteristics of this good office is, first one is the third party only provides assistance or facilitates meetings. Second, often considered a preliminary step before mediation. Example, the role of the United Nations Secretary General in the Korean conflict in 1950 to bring both sides together for discussion. And last, or number five, is through international organizations. Disputes may also be resolved through international political forums where states discuss and seek peaceful solutions collectively. The characteristics is, first one is managed through international or regional organizations. Second, the outcome may take the form of resolutions, recommendations, or peace agreements. Examples. The first one is the United Nations General Assembly and Security Council frequently handle global conflicts. Second, the ASEAN Regional Forum serves as a platform for Southeast Asian countries to discuss regional peace and security issues. So, the conclusion of my topics is political dispute settlement emphasizes peaceful diplomacy, communications, and compromise rather than the use of force. Its main goal is to main its main goal is to maintain world peace and preserve good relations among nations. Each method has a different level of third party involvement, ranging from direct negotiation to the use of international organizations. Maybe that's my topic. Next topic will present by my friend.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Raden Alfidi Septian Mahardika. I will continue my friend presentation before. Okay, now I will discuss about the South China Sea case. First, let's review the background of the case. This dispute involves China and several associations of Southeast Asian nations or ASEAN, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei Darussalam. The main issues is the countries' overlapping claims to territorial waters and natural resources, particularly oil, gas, and fisheries. This conflict will not be resolved through military force, but rather through regional politics and diplomacy. For example, through the 2002 Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, which was signed by ASEAN and China. This agreement establishes a commitment to exerting restraint and avoiding provocative action in the region. Next is a discussion of the Code of Conduct, which is a more legally binding guideline for behavior that aims to maintain regional stability. Although the Philippines took the case to international arbitration and won a ruling in 2016, political and diplomatic channels remain the primary approach because they are considered more realistic for maintaining good relations and stability in Southeast Asia. Next, I will discuss relevance in the modern era. Looking at the two examples above, we can conclude that resolving international conflict through political is inherently important in the modern era. There are several main reasons for this. Number one, encouraging dialogue rather than confrontation. Today's world is increasingly interconnected, so war is not an effective solution. Diplomacy is the best way to find common ground and avoid casualties. And number two, it is more efficient and adaptive to geopolitical dynamics. Global conditions are rapidly changing with interconnected economic, energy, and security interests. The political path allows for flexible negotiation without increasing tension. And number three, preventive diplomacy means using diplomacy not only to resolve existing conflict but also to prevent new ones from emerging through communication and cooperation between countries. In the modern era, political and diplomatic approaches have become primary strategies for maintaining international peace, stability, and security, rather than merely alternative. That's all presentation for me, and thank you.
Finally, the political road to international dispute settlement employs peaceful approach through diplomacy, dialogue, and negotiation between states without involving formal judicial institutions. And that's all from us. Thank you for your attention. I hope you like our presentation, guys. Especially if there are wrong words or misspoken, we apologize. We from Group 9 say goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.